Hello guys, this is Coolchessgm and today we are going to see Closed Sicilian. The ideas of Closed Sicilian and some games in that. So, the Closed Sicilian is a reliable opening with opportunities for a kingside attack. Unlike open Sicilian lines such as the dragon where new moves are routinely introduced on move 30, there is no need to learn a vast amount of theory in here. Instead, white tends to follow an established plan of development against most setups, after which the stage is set for a middle game battle. So, the ideas behind the Closed Sicilian: e4, c5, knight c3, knight c6, g3. This is the move that signals white intention to play the Closed Sicilian. Basically, the idea is to fianchetto on the king side and follow with d3 to develop the queen's bishop. White tends to develop his king's knight to e2 or f3. The currently fashionable g6 is the most popular reply because kingside fianchetto will allow black to exert his influence on the center and along the a1 h8 diagonal. Bishop g2, d3, d6 and bishop e3. This is the new main line and is the reason why the Closed Sicilian is being played at the international level. I have paid special attention to it because I think the simple development plan is easy to follow and the ideas can be applied in a variety of positions. It is an aggressive system that puts black under pressure at the earliest opportunity. The plan is to play queen d2 and bishop h6, exchanging the key defensive bishop on g7 and perhaps following up with h4 h5 to open the h file and deliver a speedy mate. It sounds too good to be true, but was a successful formula in Adams vs. Ward, Red Bus, Southend 2001. That game went e6, queen d2, ng e7, bishop h6, castles, and h4. The attack looks rather obvious, but it is very effective. Adams is threatening h5, followed by taking on g7 and h into g6, which allows the queen to jump in on h6 with a tremendous attack. f6. Black takes measures to parry the offensive. Basically, f6 stops h5 here, because then comes g5 with the idea of king h8 and ng8 trapping the queen. However, it compromises black's pawn structure, which encourages white to attack. So h5 cannot be played here. So queen d2, Adams played queen d2 here, e5, h5, f4. As here also the knight, the f6 knight is not defending the king, as the main defender and the best defender is the f6 knight. When knight or queen is away from the black's king, then we can go for attack. So f4, break opening the king side position. This forced as we could not be playing Nc6 or Nc8. So now white's king safety is not important here, as black could not attack his king with nd4 or nd5. White played nd5 here. The a3, a nice pawn sack. As if knight a6, then it's just easy to play with nf3 or ne2, or with c4 and triple O ne2, having the control over the king side. It's easy to play with white side. And if knight takes d5, then knight takes, bishop takes, knight takes, queen g2, double attack. The opening has been a complete success because the twin threats of queen takes d5 and queen g7 mate give white a winning advantage. So black has tried various ways to counter this direct offensive. e5. e5 is one of the best, but in the game Orlov vs Rago in 2000 demonstrated that knowledge of the standard attacking procedure is sometimes enough to ensure success at the board. So e5, white continued with his own plan, queen d2, ng e7, and here bishop h6. White does not want black to castle immediately here. So castles and h4 with the idea of h5. This attacking device will hardly come as a surprise to anyone who has seen the Adams game. It might not be the most accurate way to handle the position after e5, which has given black an extra move on the new main line, but in practical play it can be very effective. So h4, f6, bishop takes g7, king takes g7 and h5, opening the king side. g5, h6 check, king h8, and f4. So anyway, the same position arise. So it's force now. E takes f4, g takes f4, and g takes f4. Triple O, as the pawn would not run away. So triple O, ng6 and nge2 with the idea of taking on f4 and developing spaces so that he would mate the king, so that he all his pieces could cooperate and get a strong attacking threat. Bishop g4, rook df1, queen a5, and in d4 and bishop h3. So if we took on h3, then it's of no use, as white would gain control on e6 and d5 square easily, with having f6 and d6 weaknesses. So black cannot play bishop takes h3, and bishop f3 is forced here. Rook at g1 and n takes f4, queen takes f4. Black played queen takes g3. So rook g8, it's over. As if black played king takes g8, then queen g3, king f7, queen g7 check, king e8, and queen d7 is a mate. And if he played rook takes g8, then queen f6, rook g7, and queen takes g7 is mate. And if black fiddles with the move order, then play usually transposes to one of the main lines, thus allowing white to place setup against just about everything. However, there are few personal tricks to watch out for in the opening. So another game is Smyslow vs Denker in Moscow 1946, which shows not only how an opening evolves over the years, but also how the lessons of the old masters can sometimes be forgotten. So here d3, and Denker played e6 here. Bishop e3. White is following a normal plan. Knight d4. So now Nc2, a move which tends to set black usually thinking for a long time. Usually in such position, black exchanges knights on e2 or f3 and grabs the pawn on b2. But here white is in the pleasant position of being able to recapture on e2 with the king's knight, promoting his development, after which the capture of the tempting b pawn leads to a ruin. So if knight takes e2, then knight takes e2. Black is planning to win a couple of pawns, has caught out numerous players since bishop takes b2, rook b1. If the bishop retreats, white takes on c5 with a slight advantage. So black played queen a5 check, bishop d2, queen takes a2, and simple combination: rook takes b2, queen takes b2, bishop c3, queen a2, and bishop takes h8 with a pace up. So after Nc2, black played d6. So now it's forced to play c3, as the c5 pawn is defended, and you cannot be playing rook b1 defending a b2 pawn by a major piece. So by playing c3, Nc6 is forced, and d4, white got the center and developed all his pieces except the g1 knight. It will be developed in a few moves. And here cd4, cd4, and white played nd4 here. nd4, nd4, bishop d4, and if he forces e5, as if bishop takes g4, then queen takes g4 will work, and if n6, then f4 and e5. Black played e5, bishop e3, knight e7, ne2, castles, bishop e6, queen d2, queen c7, rook of c1. Now as white does not have any pieces on the king side to attack king, there is no point in going for bishop h6, h4 and h5, as the knight on f3 is not there, it's on e2. So now as there is only one hope, getting the d5 square with c4, nc3 and nd5. So after f4, as if after f4 white does not gain anything. And so here rook of c1, f5. Black is opting as black's only chance is to play on the king side, as he cannot be playing on the queen side. So white played c4 here, f takes e4 and then c3. His idea is to get the d5 square as soon as possible. So nf5, knight takes e4, knight takes e3, queen takes e3, as f takes e3 would create a weakness, and he would attack the e3 pawn with bishop h6 in future by playing rook e8. First he should be defending the d6 pawn, so he would be playing rook e8, and followed by he would be playing bishop h6, or directly he would play bishop h6. So f takes e3 is just a weakness creating around. So queen takes e3 is forced, and black played h6 defending the ng5, rook d1 again. So in Sicilian, as you all know, d6 pawn is backward and must be attacked, so that black's pieces won't be active ever. And rook of d8, rook ac8. He got the typical bind on the center, and rook ac8 supporting the c4 pawn, b6. Now I think black is in Zugzwang. Yeah, but maybe it's as black could not play actively, I mean anything importantly, and black does not have any weaknesses to attack, I mean white does not have, so that black could not attack anything, as all his pieces are placed well, and all his pawns are connected. So bishop d5 and king h7. As here nd5 should not be played because of bishop takes g5, and there will be opposite bishop succouring, and in ending it will be possible to get draw. So bishop d5 and king h7. So gonna attack the d6 pawn with doubling the rook on the d file and playing nb5. Okay, ne4. A blockade. Now is j7 bishop. The fianchetto bishop will not be working. Now it's just defending the d6 pawn. So rook d5, queen g4 with the idea of rook f3. So protecting it, I mean white is gaining space. So bishop e7 and There he drops the pawn. Okay, the game continued till 52 moves. We want as this is a fine example of a positional bind, and the immediate nd4 was not a good choice by black, as he did not develop his pieces, and instead he is going for attack with nd4. Maybe he would be opting d6 and ng7. That will be a better choice by playing d6 and g7 f5. So here white's plan is to transferring of pieces to the king side using space advantage, restriction of black's queen side counter, and f4 f5 pawn break to shatter the king side. So black's plan is to pressurize white's queen side or center. Black plays on the queen side to counter white's king side play, so that white cannot go and attack the king easily. Yeah, pawn break in the center with d5 is typical in the Sicilian, and it's important to open the position and activate the pieces. So let's see a last game for this video. A typical attacking ideas shown by the game in Krapivin versus Morozov in 1998. So in this position the game continued with e5. And here white countered it with f4 and d6. Here a good play, Nc3, as if nf3 is also playable, but maybe white was scared of bishop g4 and nd4 like that pen. But nf3 is also a useful move, as it creates the f5 break as soon as possible without wasting one move. Here Nh3 Ng7 castles. Here black's castle is not a good move, as it happened in the game, and white started for the early attack with with f5. An excellent move, that is the start of an impressive attack. The idea is to exploit the light squares around the black king, and as I said, the f6 knight is not there to defend, and we can go for the attack. So gf5, ef5. Black played bishop takes f5, but if knight takes f5, then it's met by queen h5, heralding an attack that has a reputation for quick wins. For instance, if n of d4, it runs into bishop e4, f5 only move, bishop d5 check, king h8, and ng5, h6, queen g6 with the threat of queen h7 mate, and forces bishop, and forces h takes g5, and queen h5 is a mate. So he could not play knight takes f5, and bishop takes f5 was played in the game. So now as we have started the attack with the f5, we should not have any waiting moves. So Now if queen h5 was played, then bishop g6 followed by f5, black would gain good control over the center, and it will not be good for white to play. So here g4 is playable, but it reduces the white's attacking chances, as after g4 bishop g6 black is having f5 break at any time, and the f6 and the knight's work on f6 is doing by the bishop on g6, so we have to be careful in that way. And Krapivin continued rook takes f5, knight takes f5, bishop e4, and knight h6 here, queen h5, threatening the knight on h6. So the knight will fall in a few seconds, few moves, and so he played d5, which is only move. If n takes g5 and f5, bishop takes h6, fe4. He just now white is exchanged down, okay, but king is not having legal protection, and it's in a major trouble here. Ng5 with the threat of mating the king and getting the queen with Nc6 check, a family folk. So if he gets the knight, then no problem, queen at some check, king f6, h4. We threat to play rook f1 check, I mean rook f1 mate. So d4 is forced, as if rook f1 then n3 he would be stopping it. It's no problem, as we have committed, we should not be stopped. Rook f1, n3 and king g2. So white just got the grip of the position. I mean the king is going to be mated very soon now, and c4 the and black resigned here. Okay, so the closed Sicilian is ideal for those who do not have time to learn a lot of complicated opening theory. Instead, white tends to rely on knowledge and understanding of the strategies and tactics available in the opening. A solid system with chances of a kingside attack is a good opening choice. The new main line begins with bishop e3, intending queen d2 followed by bishop h6 to exchange the dark squared bishops. Once the important defensive bishop on g7 is exchanged, then white attacks with h4 or f4 and carries on with the traditional kingside pawn attack. Though it sounds simple, it is also surprisingly effective. Okay guys, I will make the part 2 after some days. If you like this video, then please subscribe for it. Thank you.